my name is Hyuna and I'm currently an intern at PSCORE. We have been preparing a workshop to discuss Korean reunification issues with representatives all around the world. Korean reunification has been a widely debated topic for decades. There is no guarantee that it will happen for our current generation, but it is something we should continuously be thinking about, begin creating realistic solutions for. Therefore, it is essential to critically evaluate the possible outcomes and unintended consequences of the Korean reunification, as well as discuss and prepare in advance to ensure a peaceful and successful reunification of the Korean Peninsula. We will now begin the discussion on the predictions about future of the North Korea after reunification, politically, socially, culturally, and etc.
Hi, I'm Julia Wald. I'm an intern here at PSCORE. I grew up in Los Angeles, but I live in New York now. I just graduated from law school, from Cardozo School of Law, and I received my Juris Doctorate. This fall, I'm going to University of Essex in the UK to get my LLM, which is a Master's of Law degree. Yeah, I want to pursue a career in human rights, so I'm really excited to be here today.
Okay, hello, my name is Morgan. I'm from France and I'm currently studying translation in university. I decided to join today because I'm really interested in the topic of human rights in general, but in North Korea especially. Since I started studying Korean, I've become more and more interested in this topic, and I really just wish somehow I could make a difference. And that's why I'm joining today, and I plan on participating in more events like this one in the future.
네, 안녕하세요. 제 이름은 이라고 하고요. 지금 대학교에서 재학 중이고, 그리고 고향은 이제 북한에서 함경북이라는 곳에서 왔어요. 온 지는 한 10년 정도 됐는데, 아무래도 북한에서 왔다 보니까 그 북한의 사정을 제대로 알고 있고, 그리고 남한의 사정도 제대로 알고 있는 상황에서 통일이라는 게 얼마나 중요한지 지금 생각하고 있고, 그리고 앞으로 통일을 위해서 또 어떻게 준비를 해야 되는지 관심이 많고, 북한의 인권에 대해서도 지금 관심이 많기 때문에 지난번에 인권단체에서도 잠깐 활동을 했었고, 그래서 또 이번에도 좋은 기회를 통해서 이 프로젝트에 참여하게 됐습니다.
Hello, my name is Alba and I'm a law and political science student in Spain. If everything goes as I planned, I will be doing my internship in PSCORE by January next year. And well, I discovered a lot of things in this workshop. I have been very interested in human rights in North Korea for a long time, but this workshop opened my eyes in a lot of senses.
I think something I've thought a lot about is the concept of Juche. Juche is like love for the leader and like no self-love. I've been thinking a lot about like cultivating self-love, the weekly sort of criticism sessions they have for other people and then also criticizing themselves. I think once those stop being forced upon the citizens of North Korea, socially, people will just be happier, they'll be more friendly. Cultivating self-love is so important, and I think North Koreans may lack that right now. So that's one thing socially I've been thinking a lot about, is just enjoying being a human more.
I think the first thing that comes to mind is social integration. I know that South Koreans tend to have a lot of stereotypes regarding North Koreans, whether it's about the poverty or just the difference in language. And because of this whole economic gap, I think South Koreans have this tendency to sort of look down a little bit on North Koreans. And I think if reunification happens, this could become an issue. So the most important thing, I think, would be to educate South Koreans on this issue and try and change their perspective so that this whole social integration could happen in a more positive way.
일단 성평등에 대한 부분은 여기 남한도 사실 성평등이 이제 지금 계속 그런 부분 고쳐나가고 있긴 하지만 아직도 멀었다고 생각하고 있거든요. 근데 북한은 아직도 좀 더 심각한 수준이긴 하죠. 예를 들어서 아직 가부장적인 그런 문화들, 조선시대부터 오던 문화들을 계속 이어져 오기 때문에 옛날 어르신들 세대 같은 경우에는 아직도 아침에 여자가 이제 밥을 차려서 남자한테 갖다 줘야 되고 뭐 이런 부분들 그건 아직도 고치지 못하고 있는 부분들인데 여기는 그나마 그런 건 많이 없어졌더라고요. 근데 다행인 거는 지금 옛날 세대들은 그런 게 이제 당연시 여기기 때문에 남자가 음식을 먹고 그리고 뭐 그냥 가고 그러면 여자가 다 치우고 뭐 차려주고 치우고 이런 부분들이 있는데 젊은 세대들은 또 그런 부분들 많이 고쳐져서 남자가 요리하는 경우도 되게 많고 그리고 남자가 또 뒷정리하는 것도 되게 많기 때문에 젊은 세대들한테는 조금 큰 문제가 아니지 않을까라는 생각이 들어요.
I think this will be the most enriched field with reunification because they have been separated sisters, cultural sisters for a long time, North and South Korea, and the only thing that can be that for me is possible to happen is that all these characteristics that they have kept, they will be kept, of course, and all the other characteristics that they developed and that they make them that made them authentic, North and South separately, will be now part of both and will be now part of just one country. So there will be a country with a very big cultural aspect and various cultural aspects that will be really great.
Yes, I've talked a lot about, I have some Korean friends who say, you know, it's hard to understand North Korean dialect and an accent, but I've also heard that it's hard for North Koreans to understand South Korean dialect because it's taken on so much English. I even went to a yoga class yesterday that was like half in English, even though it was in Korean. So that will be one major difficulty, combining these cultures and then basically having to relearn language and I think sort of embrace some of the Western aspects of life that South Korean culture has embraced.
이웃의 경우에는 여기서는 개인주의 문화가 되게 발달되어 있기 때문에 아파트 이제 집에 올라갈 때 엘리베이터 타도 이제 옆집에 누가 사는지 뭐 서로 인사 같은 것도 안 하죠. 왜냐면 서로 얼굴을 모르기 때문에 뭐 서로 소통할 기회도 없고 다만 이제 북한의 경우에는 이웃 주민들끼리 서로 얼굴을 다 알고 있어요. 아파트라던가 아니면은 뭐 집의 어떤 구조적인 부분들 그런 부분들의 차이 때문에 일어나는 그런 현상일 수도 있지만 옛날부터 그 한 동네 사람들은 서로 알고 지내는 그런 문화가 이제 계속 자리 잡혀왔기 때문에 새로 와도 음식 들고 인사하러 간다던가 명절이면 같이 모여서 뭐 놀기도 하고 이런 것 때문에 서로 이제 다 알고 지내는 것 차이랑 이제 남한 같은 경우에는 그런 게 없는 차이가 있는 것 같아요.
Okay, so on the political aspect, I think, well, obviously now there are two very different regimes, and whether after reunification it becomes completely a democracy, or they are going to keep some of the aspects of communism while integrating them, maybe into the democracy, I think the government needs to start implementing policies in order to integrate, as I just said, North Korea into the whole economic aspect. So I think after reunification, one of the best ways to sort of help North Korea improve and develop its economy would be by implementing policies to promote tourism in the North. Yes, there are a lot of natural resources. The North has not really been impacted that much by industrialization. I mean, the nature hasn't been really impacted. So I think it could become a great tourist a great destination for tourism. And also, I think, still in the economic aspects, I think we need to have policies in order to sort of make incentives for companies to move to the north, and that would boost as well the whole economy in the north. So this all has to be implemented by the government once reunification has happened.
Well, that will be really interesting, right? Because they're under a totalitarian dictatorship right now, and joining either democracy or whatever happens if they combine with South Korea and become a democratic country, that's going to be so different. I think capitalism is really embraced in the South. So sort of unlearning some of the communist ideals that that North Korean citizens have internalized, and learning how to engage in a capitalist society will be really interesting. Politically, I mean, having freedom of elections, being able to vote, being able to make your own decisions when it comes to politics, and being able to talk about your political beliefs openly is going to be amazing, I think. I personally really enjoy those parts of life, so I think it'll be a really good change.
I think that the last and the most difficult part of all this will be the political aspect. Why? Because I think there's a conditio sine qua non for this unification, and that condition is democracy, is democratization. Without democratization, there won't be a unification, and that's a difficult aspect because it's really difficult for me to make such a closed dictatorship as North Korea, to change that leitmotif that accompanied them for a long time. But that's not impossible. It's not impossible, and it will be worthy, of course, to educate, not just educate, because that sounds a bit paternalistic, but not to educate, just teach the new way of living, the democratic lifestyle, democratic the way of democracy to the new citizens of Korea, of South Korean, North Korean people. That will be really important to extend the message of democracy in between mainly the North Korean citizens.
여기 남한도 그렇듯이 그 지역이 좀 발달된 지역들 같은 경우에 주변에 뭐 학교가 잘 돼 있다던가 아니면 뭐 대기업이 들어가 있다던가 어쨌든 그런 공공시설물들 또 이런 부분 인프라가 되게 잘 돼 있거든요. 근데 북한의 경우에 그런 것이 없기 때문에, 그래서 이제 북한의 어떤 그 지역적인 경제를 살리려면은 대기업이 가장 먼저 그 지역에 자리 잡는 게 가장 중요하다고 생각해요. 근데 대기업에서 뭐 이득이 없이 그쪽에 북한 지역에 자기 이사를 가지 않겠죠. 뭐 공장을 설립한다던가 그럴 이유가 없다면 굳이 가지 않기 때문에 이런 부분에 있어서 이제 국가에서 조금 지원을 해주는 거죠. 예를 들어서 뭐 대기업에서 일하는 직원들 경우에 뭐 인건비를 이제 국가에서 조금 지원을 해준다던가 아니면은 그쪽에 이동했을 경우에는 뭐 세금에 대한 혜택을 좀 더 해준다던가 이런 부분을 통해서 기업이 북한의 대기업들이 이제 북한 그런 지역마다 이제 들어가고, 그러면 자연스럽게 그 지역이 발달되면서 인구가 좀 늘어나고, 또 그러면 학교가 또 필요하기 때문에 또 학교가 지어지고, 이러다 보면은 북한의 경제도 남한처럼 이제 좀 점점 이제 같이 상승할 수 있지 않을까라는 생각을 할 수 있었어요.